Someone needs to do a study, an in-depth, thorough study of how is it that these dudes with money only go for us when we have crunchy, dusty, tumbleweed wigs.
To get a rich white dude, your wig has to be looking it has to be dusty, because there's a viral video that went on TikTok whereby it's a viral couple, you know, a white man married to a black woman, and they are very rich, like he's very, very rich. But then what got the video to go so more viral and people to talk about the video on TikTok was the black woman's wig. This wasn't wigging at all. Let me go ahead and just play a short clip for the viral video for you all to watch, then we'll come back and talk about it.
I only have 3 hours to get ready.
It's date night for the Mallins in Kent, and Irene is halfway through the beauty process.
Today I think he's taking me to one of his nice tiny restaurants somewhere. I really think it's important for me and Sam to have some time together because, you know, yes, we love the kids, but I always say the kids grow up and they leave the house.
A key element of keeping the flame alive with 5 children is the nannies.
The date kicks off with a chauffeur-driven car. But the next stop isn't the restaurant, it's a private airport.
Oh, darling, this is too much.
Then aperitifs over the English Channel.
Chin chin, darling.
Because Sam's favourite restaurant is in Paris.
Life is majorly fabulous.
With you in it, of course.
Queen Irene of English.
The cost of a private jet from the UK to Paris is £15,000. And to think they could have got there for less than 100 quid.
We could have gone EasyJet.
Darling, come on.
Okay, no, just kidding. Bad joke, bad joke. I don't want to spoil the moment. But not that long ago, when we got onto a plane, and for the first time in a while, it wasn't a private jet.
Hey beautiful people, how y'all doing today? It's your girl Maria David, and I'm back again with another interesting video. Why do this rich white dude love black women that they are weak and not wigging? When I mean wigs and not wigging is they don't have their frontal laid, their wigs are not put together, this chaka 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 chaka. That got a lot of people talking. We're not talking about the marriage and everything, they're talking about her appearance. The comment section was just all over the place about her look, which was especially the wig. So this got a lot of people saying, okay, for you to have, you know, a rich white dude, you have to start combing your head the other way. You have to look very because that is what they're attracted to, you know. Let me go ahead and know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. I have interesting issues to share with you all concerning this video, so let's go ahead and watch these issues together. At the end of all these issues, I'll be back with my own opinion.
I only have 3 hours to get ready.
Last year, somebody got mad at me because I called them out on their xenophobia, and then they decided they wanted to talk junk about my dusty wig to the point where my dusty wig had to even give a response to them. And let me just say this, that wig may have been dusty, but just remember, these dusty wigs attract millionaires and billionaires. Your Slade lace front wig attract dudes who work at Amazon, who make $18 an hour, and who got 4 baby mamas, which you about to be the 5th. Just remember that. I will not forget y'all. I will not forget y'all. And when I'm riding around in my Rolls Royce and see you standing at the bus stop waiting to get to the wig office, you know what? I've said too much already. Just remember me. Remember me.
The date kicks off with a chauffeur-driven.
No, because I'm going to Party City. I'm snatching me a wig and then directly headed to the richest, whitest part of my state. And if I don't come home with somebody with some fucking money, I'm going to be pissed. Big pissed.
And I do spoil a red quite frequently, actually, in terms of fashion items.
Someone needs to do a study, an in-depth, thorough study of how is it that these dudes with money only go for us when we have crunchy, dusty, tumbleweed wigs. Because I'll stop brushing this today, honestly. I'll stop brushing it right now.
With 5 children is the nannies.
I have a bad wig theory. Now, if you are not in Black woman TikTok, you may not be familiar with the bad wig interracial relationship lore, and there is lore. And it goes something like this. In general, white men are not checking for Black women in interracial dating, mating relationships, with one notable exception, and that is a thin, conventionally thin Black woman wearing a bad wig. Yes, it's funny, might be a little ironic, certainly in the storied tradition of African American communication styles in which we play the dozens, but also I think there's a little social science to this, and I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. Jacqueline Wong and Andrew Pinner did this study like 2017, 18 in the Journal of Social Stratification and Mobility, classic social science journal that is interested in why do people have different incomes and wealth positions, and that leads to social inequality in our society. And Jacqueline's a real one for this because she took some existing data sets and she wanted to see why women earn less than men in the workforce. And her finding, and it's built on her thesis study, which is why I'm giving her first authorship, and I assume this is her research question. So sorry, Andrew, now you know how women feel. So Jacqueline has several findings, but she starts with this question about why do women earn less than men in the workforce? And one of her findings is about attractiveness. She's interested in the role that physical presentation and beauty plays in whether or not people earn more or less by gender in the paid labor market. And we know it matters, right? That's not what Jacqueline was interested in. She's like, how much does it matter? And her finding was surprising to her. What she found is that women, despite how attractive the opposite sex found them, were rewarded with more pay in the labor market if they invested a lot in their personal grooming. I kid you not, that's the finding. It did not matter whether or not you looked good. What men, consciously or subconsciously, and other women, it is worth saying, rewarded was a woman who demonstrated that she put a lot of effort into how she looks. So you ever seen anybody at work where you like, no way is anybody gonna let them eyebrows slide? They are all over mama's face. Yes, they're probably actually gonna let that slide because what it indicates is that this is a woman who is trying to conform to gendered norms about beauty. Men trust a woman that signals through her ostentatious grooming habits that she is likely to conform to traditional gender roles. Now, why would white men like this in a Black woman? Aha. Well, Black women are not generally in the beauty hierarchy considered women. Shout out to my queer theory folks. We are masculinized for lots of reasons. Skin tone, physical features, height, weight, but really because of the overwhelming power of the controlling images that say that Black women are not legitimately feminine women. Then you add to that the extreme amount of racial segregation in our personal networks and our private lives, residential segregation, and the fact that few white people have, according to data, a non-white friend. All this adds up to a reality where white people don't have a lot of exposure to Black people, have a low expectation of Black women as being feminine, quote unquote, beautiful in a way that conforms to gendered social norms. You put all that together and they have no idea how to judge the femininity or social acceptability of a Black woman when it's time to date one. And they don't know what we do with our hair. They ain't got no clue, except for a few of these people on TikTok who are weird, but they don't have any idea what goes into a black woman's grooming ritual, so they also can't judge the effort. How many times you, a black woman, a sister, has shown up for work and had white people go, dang, how long did your braids take? 28 minutes? I know, mama, this took 2.5 days. Thank you for playing. They have no way of judging the amount of time and effort that goes into a black woman's beauty and grooming ritual. And wealthy men in particular really value this sort of performative investment in competitive beauty standards because it signals to them that you will keep trying to stay beautiful. And that is the deal with most men, but in particular with very wealthy men. Wealthy people are deeply invested in the traditional gender division of labor. So if a white man is attracted to a black woman or desires a black woman, he would like a black woman who does an ostentatious to him, legible to him display of female grooming. So he doesn't care that the wig looks bad. And for the record, the wigs don't look too much worse than some of what I see happens to some of these people who get their hair dyed blonde after a really long time and it turns into one of those rat's nests. But what he is valuing is that, oh, they see that wig, right? And it looks like labor. And they go, aha, here is somebody who is invested in a kind of performance of femininity that I recognize and that I know how to reward. This is a woman who is signaling, I will spend hours a day, whatever it takes to stay, quote unquote, beautiful according to you and your social expectations. And I will consider that my primary job in this relationship. And she's got to work really hard, that sister, to prove it because, again, she's starting at a deficit. People already think that black women are not feminine enough. So you put that bad wig on top of your head and it says, see how willing I am to conform? Not just to your expectations about race, but to your expectations, more importantly, about gender. So believe it or not, that sister in a bad wig is doing some peacocking that is perfectly tuned to what wealthy white men are probably looking for and are able to translate. And that is my bad wig theory.
Okay, hard wig, soft life, yes or no? That's not actually the question. You need to be asking why. Why does it work? I've seen a lot of people talking about this, and unfortunately, a very few people actually understand the underlying reason. It is not because these guys don't care as much about beauty standards. It is not because they're too naive to know what to expect from Black beauty standards. It's because if you cannot meet those beauty standards as far as the Black cultural expectation goes, you are marking that by wearing a bad wig. That signifies to them as outsiders out of the community that you are not backed or well connected to the community very much, because if you were, your wig would be laid. You would have the connections, the resources, and the cultural reinforcement for that to happen. When you walk out into these predominantly white spaces, like y'all are going to go put on your crunchiest wigs and go socialize with them, you are signifying, for better or for worse, realistically or as a ploy, that you are so vulnerable and disconnected from the rest of Black culture. They want a Black woman, they don't want the Black culture. You know what I mean? They want the object, they don't want the people. They don't want the power and the assertion that comes behind it. They want to have you. You get what I'm saying? Remember who these people are. So I'm not the kind of person who's going to tell you what to do in life. However, it's very important to me that people are making informed decisions, because without the correct information, you are not actually consenting to what you're doing, and you may find yourself getting into trouble and in situations that you don't actually want to be in. So understand, these white men are not naive, because any ex-worker will tell you that they know that if they have the ability, they actually want the girl with the laid wig, but she's not going to put up with as much stuff. Right? She's not as desperate for it. She's not online considering, let me go put on a bad wig and get married to a random rich white man, right? Again, I'm not trying to slight anybody for what they do, and I'm not saying that you can't be happy in an interracial marriage. What I am, my personal bias is that I don't support the idea of doing things specifically just to marry rich when it involves putting that before everything else, or making concessions and compromises to your own character in order to have it, because that is a limiting belief that basically says you don't believe that you can be well off and wealthy and happy in a more well-rounded way, that you're going to have to make some kind of sacrifice to do it and to get it. And that's where the wearing a bad wig, or, you know, trying to find yourself a billionaire or a millionaire or whatever, even though you don't genuinely like these people. Like, I can't support that because that's not my platform. I'm not trying to judge. I'm just saying, like, that's my bias so that you know whether or not you want to listen to me. But again, my point is, hard wig theory, it does not work because white men don't know the beauty standards or don't care about what you look like. It's because you are signaling that you are alone. You are signaling that you are not rooted in the Black culture. You are a Black body, very beautiful, very appealing, very attainable, but you are not empowered. Your ancestors are not walking with you. The community is not walking with you. You don't necessarily have all of these people surrounding you that come from the standing on 10 toes that the Black culture may come with. Therefore, no judgments from family, from community. You don't have a group chat, yada, 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 because if you did, your wig wouldn't be looking like that. They know. They know. They know. You are, so vulnerable and disconnected from the rest of Black culture.
I saw this take on my For You page and I was genuinely astonished by how absurd it was. And it's no hate, but I just thought, wow, what an absurd stance to take on this matter. But I was going to address the bad wig philosophy anyway, so I'm going to do it all together in this video. The fact of the matter is the majority of wealthy people tend to marry within their own socioeconomic class. Most people marry within their own socioeconomic class. And the exceptions to this rule are very, very rarely true exceptions, because when they quote unquote marry down, it will usually be someone like, for example, Dambisa Moyo, who is a very, very well-respected intellectual, very well-respected economist, and he knew her through her work. So it's like, that doesn't really disprove it, because this isn't like your average woman, you know what I mean? Similarly, Melody Hobson, is she as wealthy as George Lucas? No, but she is a very hardworking woman, very successful woman, and represented one of the top financial firms in America for many a year. So clearly these are not like dumb, naive, vulnerable women who don't know any better. These are probably better protected women than the average. So this narrative is such a stretch. Never mind the fact you can find plenty of examples of conventionally attractive women marrying men of that socioeconomic class who are not Black, and their wigs are not bad. But even recording this video sounds kind of absurd, and it actually reminds me of a comment I got recently where she asked me to talk about this phenomena of like the bad wig or wearing wigs a certain way to appeal to certain men and things like that. And at first I wasn't even going to address it because I thought it was kind of frivolous, to be honest, but no, I think it needs to be addressed. Though I know it's a joke, but the whole bad wig thing is so hilarious because people are so close to catching the point, but then they just kind of fall short every time. Because what that is actually a signifier of is women who are invested in other things than beauty. In other words, well-cultivated, well-rounded women. So even if you are very put together aesthetically, but you are inwardly well-cultivated, you're going to be appealing to other people, especially people who are like, you know, influential, big thinkers, whatever. You're going to appeal to those people when you're well-rounded inwardly and outwardly. It just happens that in general, women who tend to be very academically orientated and intellectual tend to, on average, be less focused on their looks. That doesn't mean that beautiful women are dumb, because actually there are beautiful women who aren't actually super aesthetically focused, if you know what I mean. They're just naturally beautiful. It's more about the level of effort that goes into their appearance. There's so much time and effort that goes into fitting certain standards, the time to wax your body hair, the time to take care of your natural hair if you don't like your natural hair for whatever reason, the time to put on like wigs or enhancements or extensions or whatever, or the time to press your hair or chemically treat your hair, the time it takes to do your skincare routine, the time it takes to go get Botox and filler. If you want something more intense, the time it takes to get surgery, and then the process of recovery. Like, beauty is labor. So it's if people who are very focused on certain things, they might feel like, well, all I need to do is, I'm walking into a room. Think about it. You're walking into a room, and what do you see? You see a bunch of Hillary Clinton, Theresa May type women. So you're not even going to be seeing women who are like super like maximalist with their beauty routine. So you're not going to feel like inadequate either, because it's like, it's just a norm to just, do your hair nicely, look at Melody in the picture below, a nice little thing of foundation, some blush, a little thing on the eyes, some lipstick. Good, we're good to go. We've got on a little earrings, a nice top or dress, we're good to go. That's kind of the attitude. And even I watched a great documentary. If I can find it, I'll comment the name of it below. But it was called like The Lives of like Germans Wealthy, or something to do with that. It's like a 3-part documentary. But it talked about how discreet wealthy Germans are, and how they won't, for example, in Germany, where drive very flamboyant cars. When you looked at the men they were interviewing, because to be honest, it was mostly men, they all kind of looked like, if you went like in my city, like if you just went to like the inner city, like where I work, I see men who look like that all the time. I wouldn't just randomly walk past one of them and be like, I bet that man's a billionaire. Like, they look put together, but not so much you would think like, oh, these men are like very wealthy people. So when you know stuff like that, because you actually read and research, and it's no shade, but you actually are curious about the world, so you watch documentaries, you read articles, you research things before you make opinions, you're like, well, obviously that these men who are very low key are not going to want women who are super high maintenance and maximalist. And women who are this is not my opinion, this is how people see it. Women who are very frivolous and concerned with beauty are stereotyped as vapid and shallow. So men who are kind of precious about their resources and they want to marry someone, especially if they actually do want to marry for love, or at the very least they want to marry someone they think understands them and has something to contribute to the marriage, and isn't just looking there to basically be a trophy wife, they're not going to pick a woman they think superficially is very vapid. So that's the only reason this trend emerges. But beyond that element of it, it's also just the fact that people tend to marry within their socioeconomic class. And beauty standards among the wealthy, like the extremely wealthy in certain areas, when it comes to women, are actually not as high maintenance as the standards we have, like as working to middle class women. If you think about it, like when you look at famous politicians, like even if you look at Jill Biden, like does she look like, she looks attractive, but does she look like she like slaves over the mirror for hours perfecting her makeup routine, her hair? Like, no, she looks, attractive in like the kind of suburban mum way. Like, that's just kind of how they are. So I always thought this whole phenomenon was hilarious, because it's really just that simple.
If you're still here, you're definitely enjoying this video. Don't forget to like, to share your thoughts, your opinion down in the comment section. All opinion are accepted, all suggestions are accepted if you put them down respectfully. Watching the stitches and everything just clicked to my head like, Maria, if you're looking for a rich white dude, I don't think any rich white man will like me, because if you watch my video, you know that I love wigs. Okay, I can use my last money to buy a wig. So if this rich white dude, they're not going for women with wigs, then definitely I'm like at the back. What is it with these beauty standards? Like, I get what the people that stitch the video were trying to explain, but I feel like it's not just a norm. But sometimes when I see some videos of interracial couple, a white and a black woman, trying to be like, oh, we are happy, he's taking care of me, she doesn't do much. Like, she's just very minimal, and they be like, oh, the man, they like you when you're natural, they like your natural look and all of that. So my own is, for someone like me now that like wearing wig, I love to wear wig and everything. It's not like I don't look good with my natural hair, I just like wearing wig, okay? So if maybe the day that I wore my natural hair, I met a white man, a rich white man, I'd be like, oh, Maria, you look good, blah blah blah, I like you, can we, you know, blah blah blah, you know. Then probably will start listening. Are you trying to tell me that I have to throw my wigs away just because to please him? But I don't get it, because this old, you know, hard girl, you have to look a certain way to appease a man. It doesn't suit for me. I feel like do what you like for yourself, and whoever wants to appreciate it, whoever is going to fit in that class will come and meet you. I don't think I would say ladies should look a certain way to get a certain people, unless you have like a mission, you're on a mission to get some certain set of people. Then probably you have to pretend to be who you are not, so that you can get those set of people. It's your own choice. But I feel like if you want to be yourself, if you want to be free in a relationship, you don't want to lie, you don't want to be yourself, just look put together, you look good, you look very good. You don't have to you need to see the stitches on this video when ladies were just, you know, combing their hair anyhow. They're trying to be like, okay, this is a new trend, I want a white rich man to marry me, this is a new trend. So they start combing their hair anyhow, like, oh, this is how I have to look for my hair to this is how my hair has to look for this man to notice me. I'd like to know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. What do you think about this beauty standard in Black community, and why do you think these white men love to be with a woman that she's just there, she's not stressing with, you know, laying audio frontal, buying audio bone straight, you know, doing audio 360 frontal look. She's not stressing herself, she's just, you know, on her own. In fact, she doesn't even fix her nails, she just like to minimal makeup, you know, she doesn't do much, you know. I feel like these are the kind of girls that attract white men. Why do you think it's like that? But some are saying it's because they see that you're not really part of the community. You might be a black person, but you're not part of the culture. Alright, let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section, and thank you all so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe, and kindly put your thoughts down in the comment section respectfully. And when you subscribe, please turn on the post notification bell so you can get notified when I upload a video like this. I'm saying this because I can see the statistics that most people subscribe and do not turn on the post notification bell, and most people that watch my video are not even subscribed. Kindly subscribe, please, okay? And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.